all you got to do is
the three of you as a family, Josh, you as an individual, and along with your brother Kyle, you've touched all of us and inspired all of us. And there's one very, very special person who you've touched and inspired, and I want to read a little something to you from that person. Josh, Rena, and Drew, Team 2, and all the national riders and volunteers. Just 3 months ago, Jen Davies asked me to captain a tandem and hold Josh Nelson to his threat of last year. I didn't hesitate to accept it, as it seemed to be one of those things in life that seems right on every level. Josh and I started training together immediately, not knowing what all of our challenges would be, but meeting them all head on. He was fearless and game for absolutely everything. It was his first chance to be on a bike in 8 years. Our approach was to pedal first and ask questions later. And I'm sure I heard Rena gasp several times as we barreled out of the long driveway and into traffic. Team 2. I have to say I was very anxious about jumping into an established team of riders and taking on the challenge of Northern Ontario. We met you all on a very cold morning in Nipigon, but the cold quickly disappeared with the warm words of welcome and inclusion. As a single force, the team instantly became our guardian angels for the ride ahead. Patience, encouragement, and a strong hand on our backs guiding us up the hills were always there without hesitation or complaint. The song called He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother will have a new and very personal meaning for me from now on. Drew and Rena, during these months I have felt so much a part of your family at a time when I needed it more than you may know. Thank you for allowing me into your wonderful, loving home and trusting me with your precious son. Josh, aka Legs Nelson. I wouldn't give up 1 second of the time we've spent on the bike together so far. From all of the trash talking and strange smells, to singing our hearts out or flying down the hills at 76 kilometers an hour. The little shit never did fall off. To which you will return over and over. Congratulations to all of you for standing up and making a difference against childhood cancer. Thanks again for all you do, Jeff. Drew Molnar.
Touching one person at a time. That's it. That's all it is. So thank you for that. Thank you again. Nelson family, amazing. You have no idea what you did to propel these guys forward from Thunder Bay forward. It's amazing, just amazing. The rest of you are pretty amazing too. We followed around your blogs every day and the inspiration that you provided. Families, did you get a little inspiration from that? From those blogs? We were pretty touched by that, and so were the people that were reading the website. Media this year, I don't know Vince the final numbers, but we're probably up 300 or 400% over the previous years, the number of hits we got. And that's because of the work that you've done as ambassadors for the cause. I'm going to ask our foundation team to kind of read out some of those blogs. Sharon is a mother of a childhood cancer survivor, stage 4 survivor, the first one in Canada or only one in Canada?
As far as we know, he's in this.
So this is really meaningful to her, what she does. And her with, we'll call it next Susan, we're behind the scenes, basically arranging to find those 192 rest stops that we stopped at. Amazing amount of work, updating it. And then the other skill that Sharon has, and I hope you don't mind me saying so, she can get shit for free.
Twist my arm every day.
Aaron, 4 provinces in 5 days. I can't believe how much has happened in the last few days. This time last week, all the riders were just arriving and having dinner together. I only knew 2 of my 13 teammates and none of our support crew. Today, they're part of my family.
Let's call up her cohort, and I don't think a lot of you know Susan, so I worked with Susan in a business capacity before. Susan was a huge part of our foundation over the last 3 years, volunteering to help us, and we called her a little over a month ago and said, okay. Oh, you're too short.
Oh.
Okay, here, I'll move this other way.
Oh.
We've worked together a lot of time.
Okay, because Jeff and I have worked together, we're going to do this right. Which is my way.
I was told when I first arrived in Vancouver by one of the veteran volunteers, Dan, that this experience would change me. I can't tell you what his exact words were, but his message was clear. I would feel things I had never felt, see things I had never seen, and become different than I was before I started. That it would be something personal to me, and while I may never have the words to express my feelings, I would be better for having been here. It's funny to me now, as we are more than 2/3 of the way through this cycling ambassadorship adventure, that I barely heard him at the time. I was so overwhelmed with all the people and the movement around me that I wasn't capable of really digesting his message. Today, I feel very differently about it. I think that if I were to meet a first-year rider or volunteer, I would be telling them a very similar version. There is a life before and a life after this ride, but they are certainly not the same. My outlook on life is what is most important is different today. That was from Erin.
Rhonda touched our hearts with the most heartfelt, genuine speech. She talked about Marissa's goal of helping other children battling cancer. She understood that her cancer was terminal and saw that her purpose was to help build awareness about the cause. She believed in the power of one, that one person can make a difference. I hope that we can continue exemplifying Marissa's strength as she follows us in spirit across the country. Feel the love.
Jason, Day 9, Sarnia to Woodstock, Ontario. Spent the night not in my own bed. This is, oh, okay.
It's a family program.
Spent the night not in my own bed, but in Jesse's bed with both boys. Jesse made space for me in his bunk bed, and Jet joined us as well. Didn't get the best sleep, as I just couldn't stop looking at them. I can't even explain how much I miss them.
Ryan. At our lunch break today, the 110-kilometer mark, Eric Edwards, one of our incredible volunteers and 2008 national rider, reminded me why we are riding. Simply, the kids. The riders and all the support crew are tired. Everyone is working hard. We've been away from home for 8 days now and desperately miss our loved ones. Sleep is fragmented timelines and appointments we need to keep. Despite the challenges out there during our journey, let's not forget about the kids like Marissa Solta, who lost her long battle earlier this year. But despite her hardships, she maintained a fighting spirit and a relentless will to kick cancer's ass. Thanks for the reminder, Eric. Feel the love.
David, I'm fortunate to have Vicki Dunleavy as a rider on my team, and I've been living with her for the past couple of weeks. Vicki is a survivor. She was diagnosed when she was 8 and lived through all those operations and treatments that no child should have to endure. She was old enough to carry those memories throughout her life. She values every day the way many of us should. She knows what it means to be able to live and to enjoy life.
During one of our stops today, we left behind one of our team members. Whoops! When the RV realized their mistake, they turned around to pick Vicki up. When they returned, they found out that she'd cut a ride with the beer store delivery truck. They shuttled her back, the beer store, by the way, delivery truck, shuttled her back to the group, and they gave her a $60 donation. Canadians are great people. Thank you, Vicki.
In a nutshell, he said that he and Terry Fox have the same goal, to see a cure for cancer. He said that just like Terry, he's just doing his part to help out and spread the word in hopes that others will do the same. I have to admit that hearing his words as I was taping, it was hard to keep my composure. I know I didn't hide it as well as I would have liked to, but it was one of those moments that makes a mom proud. Josh's mom.
During our stop in Burlington, Josh Nelson gave an inspiring speech. He is such a great motivational speaker. This year he rode across Ontario. What will he do next?
Paul. By the end of the day, a few of the team had succumbed to the endless work, among them Siobhan, who is an absolute trooper, day in and day out. To give you an idea, Siobhan has been riding these past 12 days with a fractured foot bone. Personally, I find that inspiring, tenacity put to use in a beautiful way. Siobhan, if you read this, you are my hero. I may have firepower, a little joke from Night in the Museum, but you have tenacity to spare.
David, hearing lots of stories and talking to some nice people who have lost and survived cancer really puts life into perspective. Live life to the fullest because cancer does not pick sides.
Kath, we went over to the tent in front of the Sears to enjoy breakfast and normal morning ritual with relatively gray skies. As I looked to the left, a beautiful sun was rising. Soon after, a gorgeous, vibrant, full rainbow appeared. I missed on the fact that this was the third rainbow I had seen on my trip. My symbol of hope, and this is the image, was in Jenny's room for salon. The energy of our team rose as we watched the rainbow, and soon after, a double rainbow appeared. When Jason Morningstar, our team leader, spoke about miracles, that he believed in miracles, and the rainbow was the sign of a miracle, I concurred.
Mike, when you come on board for this event, you do so knowing that some things aren't going to work out the way you want. This day was one of those days for us. Ontario is a huge province, and to go all the way around Lake Huron and Georgian Bay adds almost a full day, so we take the Chichen ferry from South Bay Mouth to Tobermory. When we originally did the schedule, we didn't realize that the schedule had moved to fall hours, and the last ferry was at 10 to 4. This meant we needed to make an early start for the day, and we'd probably have to come off early to shuttle to the ferry. Then, to make things worse, we found out last night that there was a lot of construction, which was going to make it even tighter. This morning, we awoke to pouring rain. Our crew chief, along with the ride captain, had to make a choice that we would not ride and instead would shuttle ahead to the ferry. It was devastating news for the riders. We all wanted to be where we were supposed to, which was on the road. The mood was very subdued in the RV. But where the door closes, a window opens. It was decided then that we would have time to stop in Thessalon and visit a childhood cancer survivor. Chris is 30 and a 15-year survivor. He works for the Thessalon Parks and Rec and runs their arena and rec center. He loves what he does and has a genuine enthusiasm for his work. The Parks and Rec put together a lunch for us, which included a couple of great soups, which were real comfort on the cold and wet, disappointing day. They reminded us that this isn't about being on the bike, but about spreading hope.